And a one, and a two, and a here we go.
Just the vamp up to like all. You did like a previous vamp, but then that one is great.
Whatever, fuck you. Hello, and welcome to season 4 of Super Prose Bros.
Whatever, fuck you.
I'm
No,
player
keep going, bitch.
I'm player 2, Eli, and with me as always.
Player 1, motherfucker. And Count Rolo. Did you know that this podcast is on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spoofy, and fuck my ass?
I did not, bro, mama. Those are the same places they could.
Downvote.
React.
Throw it at people's timelines.
And contractually sign up.
I think so. We might have to rewrite our intro. I don't think this. I don't think these are true improvements. Fuck. Just come out throwing shade.
I mean, it could have been cut before whatever fuck you and I rolled.
And one and a two. Eli and Isaac in the morning. Oh, that's probably what we should have really called the show.
Probably.
Oh man.
We could rebrand.
Yeah, you can always rebrand. So my guy, what's been going on with you? I mean, we recorded last week, but this week is I don't know about you, but it's been a hell of a thing for me. It's been a thing for you?
Honestly, no. My week has been pretty low key.
First full week back to work.
Yeah, and so I got to experience walking up hills to go to work.
Stairs, my only weakness.
Sidebar, I want to learn his whole dialogue thing after that because it's so good.
Yeah, that's definitely one that is worth practicing and putting together.
Yeah, like that's something I want to have committed to memory for no reason other than it's fucking funny. But no, so I am still mildly annoyed at my front office because me getting a washer put back in was, I get it Monday, so I finally get a washer tomorrow. But it's getting interesting over here. Like, I'm getting down.
How many underwears have been inside outed?
So I went to Costco yesterday and I just bought a pack of underwear.
Could have just gone to a laundromat. Fuck that. More undies.
Well, I had to go to Costco anyways.
What am I going to clean the stains out of these things? Well,
so
they're on the front and the back.
The problem is that I looked for a laundromat and the closest one is like fucking 6 miles away from me. Apparently Bellevue either doesn't know how to advertise them or just doesn't have fucking laundromats anywhere nearby.
I think you live in a nice enough area that they just don't have them.
It's very possible. So I'm just like, fuck. I don't want to deal with this. I'm just gonna pay fucking $6, buy a 5-pack of underwear.
I mean, you're gonna having more of them in the long run's better.
Yeah, it's also like they're not gonna go bad.
No.
Sans me letting a bunch of moths raid my closet.
The underwear has gone bad.
Yeah, like, so it's kind of whatever. Yeah. So I bought that, and like I bought a pair of slacks because I'm like,
ooh, look at
you.
Well,
I just needed another pair of work pants for Monday, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, just fucking buy some slacks.
You already wore the last pair without underwear.
Well, so I bought one. I had a pair of slacks. I'm like, I think they still fit me. Well, they did. And when I got to work, I realized they had a massive hole in the crotch. So
Hope you don't work with anybody attractive.
So for about 5 hours, so it was like basically where your taint is. It's just there's this fucking cut in the pants, basically.
The
gooch, the fleshy fun bridge.
Fleshy fun bridge.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that in anatomy class. And right here is the fleshy fun bridge.
So I'm like, oh god. So for 5 hours, I'm like, just no sudden movements, don't squat, don't just fucking chill. no problem. Like no one knows. No one will be the wiser unless they listen in. In which case, haha. But yes, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna buy pretty select. So I have another pair. It's not again. It's not like it's gonna go bad. I'm gonna get use out of them. Whatever. So, and the only other thing is like, um, I went out to like lunch yesterday and met up with someone, and
Mhm.
that was okay. They were nice. Admittedly, the weirdest fucking had like so I ordered like kurikatsu,
Mhm.
and it was weirdly fucking sweet.
Hmm.
Like it was really sweet. It was a little off-putting actually. Um, they also gave like this little fucking side salad with it that had this thick yellow like dressing on it. It did not look good.
I feel like I've seen that before, but
It didn't have
yellow,
taste. It
huh?
it
I've seen
it,
orange. I guess I haven't seen yellow.
it was like Sabella yellow.
Wow.
It was just thick.
Is that mustard on my salad?
It was just like what the fuck, and like I took a bite, like it was like the weakest balsamic ever. Like the
Weird.
taste of cucumber was overpowering the dressing. And
Uh,
cucumber is not a strong flavor.
no. It's the most background fifth friend of a fucking
Yeah, like
vegetable.
it was just like how is this eclipsing, and this is drenched in it. How is this eclipsing this? Like what the fuck? So it was weird. However, I did have like a sushi roll. That was pretty fucking solid. Pretty happy with that, but just the curry was weird. Um, but yeah, they were super jazzed to get to like touch chinchillas, and they had the reaction that everyone does, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
So soft.
They're like, what the fuck?" Um, yeah. So it's otherwise,
Think it's gonna become. Does it have
eh,
legs, or was that like one and done?
not really. Probably just like a one and done. May keep up in
Yeah.
like chat and maybe meet up for like dinner at some point or something, but
Yeah.
probably not. Probably not.
Sure.
Oh, I know.
One down, like 8 million to go.
Pretty much.
Well, how are you liking waking up in the new place? Is it still weird? Was it ever weird?
Like the first day or two, it was a little weird just because it was different.
Yeah.
But like, nah, I like it. I admitted the last couple of days I've not wanted to get the fuck out of bed. I've just been
Wait, is
lazy
that
as.
that's new for you? That's just every day for me.
Well, it's made extra difficult because like I let my cats back into my room because I'm like, all right,
I
new
was gonna
setting,
ask about that.
and I mean, so far Heimdall's been a good boy. I just
It's not beat the bed.
he's not fucking pissed on my bed, um, and he hasn't even like clawed at my carpet. Which I'm like, okay, good. The most he'll do is like scratch at my closet door, and I'm like, you don't need to be in there. It's 2025. Come out. Um, and but I'm like otherwise, but I'll wake up and he'll be curled up with me, and Usa will often like Usa's a fucking menace, and will harass me at early hours and be like, "Why isn't my food thing gone off? I know it's fully automated, but why haven't you made it trigger, human? God, Jesus, stop it." Um, but like if I stay past when their food goes off, she'll come back and like crawl into the covers and like nestle up against my legs. So I'm just like imprisoned, just like. Ah.
Damn this awesome prison by
And I'm like,
perfect
well,
design.
I could lay in bed and watch cartoons. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like the other morning, I just watched like I caught up on fucking Creature Commandos. It was just cozy as hell.
Awesome.
What about you? What's been going on?
So after we last talked, first couple days of work, normal, starting off, whatever. Kids aren't coming in
Sure,
super quick because why would they?
naturally.
And then Tuesday night, there were some insane winds in the Los Angeles basin. Like, I think it was hitting around like 40 plus miles an hour, I want to say. I hope I'm right on that. It was a lot. Shit was shaking. The trees are still bent a different direction where I
God
live.
damn.
Um, which initially it's still one of those things that it bothers me. It freaks me out less and less. But being in LA when there's high winds with palm trees is always unsettling because they have a lot of elasticity, but they're still a tree, and no other tree moves as much as they do without like snapping. And so when you see them like moving like that, you're like, oh fuck. But then it's like it is a palm tree, so it can do that, but it's still a tree moving that violently, and it's like ah. Sadly, that was not the worst of the results. For those that have, I mean, this is going to come out weeks after it happened, but there were massive fires in LA going through the Palisades, which I'm not going to lie, the people that are freaking out about that, I'm sorry, shut the fuck up. The things that happened in the Palisades, millionaires lost their homes. That sucks. Also, they're millionaires and they had insurance for sure. They're fine. That I mean, there were people over there that weren't that and that are kind of being lumped in. I'm sorry, but by and large, the Palisades sucks, but it doesn't suck that bad. I need to actually double check this. I heard this from a student, and then somebody else was like, "I don't think that's true." Okay, no, it wasn't. I heard rumor that the Hollywood sign burned down. I was like, "Whoa, it did not." I keep forgetting that all the kids that come into my work are lovely morons, and they just believe anything that's on TikTok. Um, which is predominantly fake and fun, but enjoy it, but also don't believe any of it. Um, However, the really sad thing is that there is, I think it's called the Eaton Canyon Fire, which is up near where I work in those mountain ranges, and it flattened basically a city called Altadena, where a lot of people. I had 3 coworkers lose their house, and I had 2 students lose their house. And like I think the number I was seeing the other day is 180,000 people have been displaced by it. Which is, I mean, LA's big, but that's a lot of people just be like, "Oh, I need somewhere to live." So it's fucking devastating. Uh if you feel compelled by this, there are many charities and GoFundMe's that you can reach out for and do some good. I would highly recommend doing that. Um one of the beauties of working where I do is that we do get to, not only is it a job that pays me money, but it's also a job where I get to have a good effect on society. So despite me being a lazy ass, my boss is like, "Hey, our school is closed, so I'm going to use my personnel for good." And she sent me to go help a kid get set up at a church for him and his like family of 9 plus like a gaggle of birds, dogs, and cats. Luckily, kind of awesome time to go to United Methodist Church and see them doing what we were raised to believe is what God wanted, which was taking in people, giving them food, and not asking for anything in return, which was lovely to see. Um, after, so that was my Wednesday. Didn't have work. Thursday did that. Friday I went in and like worked for a couple hours. A couple kids showed up, but it was by and large just like talking. We had like a meeting about what's going to happen moving forward, and a lot of my coworkers are involved in charity work and kind of looking out for their neighbors, and it's lovely to see. Just another bit of proof that teachers are superheroes. Um, but it's really fucking. It's going to be a very absurd school year in many different directions because of this. Because sadly, even though this is taking place, for us, we're still going to remain open as far as I understand and work with the kids. However, I think multiple schools burned down because Altadena was a big, like, relatively big city. And so, like, a lot of not only families are displaced, but like, where are they going to go to school? How's that going to work? So I think a lot of kids are going to have to go back and do the pandemic kind of thing of working remotely, which is not good for education. It's good as opposed to nothing, but when it comes to like kids learning, nope, not nearly as good as being in a classroom for most of them. So my I can't even really like it's still kind of hitting me how much this is going to affect people, and
Yeah.
it's fucking rough.
Yeah.
Um, in the like, probably should have ended my my kind of what's been going on in my life with that, because the next things are now going to come across as just fucking absurd. I was supposed to go on a date Friday. Um, the person had to cancel this last weekend because they had issues with their house. And so this is the person I went on an awesome date Friday that is, I believe, to this point, the most expensive date I've ever been on.
Yeah.
And then was supposed to go on a date Sunday. They had to cancel because like they had some issue with their apartment, had to deal with it. Totally understand.
Sure.
And then Friday we're gonna go on a date, and then apparently I talk too much, which I've been told before. But if you looked at our our conversations, it really wasn't that much, and so it's just like, oh, this was a bad match strategically speaking from the get go. Sucks that I had to spend $180 on dinner to have a great night to then have it like come out that way, but which whatever. So upward and onward or whatever. Also, the person that I had, so I talked about how when I came back from New Year's Eve, I had a fantastic date last time, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That also fell through, which fucking sucks. And it was like partially because of something I did, but not really. It was something that, again, for those of you out there that are randomly listening to this and going through the dating world, communication is fucking key. If you want something, say something. Because while people fall out of like with people or, get disinterested, whatever, but her hang up that she noted is something that she could have said. And I would have welcomely complied in either different direction of preference. And
Sure.
it would not have been an issue. But they didn't. And then they're like, "Oh, this happened, and I have feeling like it triggers me in this past way." I'm like, totally valid, understand. Also, could have fucking said something. Like, I was very clear early on. Communication, I'm about it, and just like didn't, and then it fucking destroyed this. Also, apparently, she saw somebody in between me and them, and it wasn't like a rerun of an earlier dating experience I had this last year, where it was like, and I connected with them and now I'm dating them instead. It was, and then they ruined the party for all of us. And I was like, God damn fucking dudes being douchebags. Fuck. So that happened. And then, okay, I remembered one of the things I was going to share with you, bro. Okay. So then the other day, because I'm never not on dating apps because gotta stay in the game to win it or something. I get matched with this person. I'm going to read this out.
Okay.
So I was like, "Hey, person, how's your week finishing up? Good." So their profile is blank as shit. This is from Facebook dating, where I just like spam the like button because that platform fucking sucks, and
Sure.
like filtering through it is just a life activity that I don't want to give that much resource to.
Okay.
So that matched with me, and their profile has, looking at it, looking for relationships, likes all genres of music. Fucking wow, tell me less.
Okay.
I go, "Hey, how's your week going? Good. I have Asperger's. I hope it's not a deal breaker." That's their that's their first response.
Okay.
I'm like, could have put that on your profile if you're going to lead with that, but sure. I was like, "Hey, that's fine. I'm kind of in a similar, to use a term that my brother hates, neurodivergent realm of nonsense. I get it. Like, no big deal.
Sure.
Do you want kids? No. Hey, me either." And then like I go, I go, "Do you want kids? No, me either." And then they just respond with just this nothing thing. Careful sex. I go, "Yeah, of course."
Eh?
I was like, "What do you look for in a partner? Being loved? What do you like to do for fun?" Listen to music is what they do for fun. All right. It's going wrong. I was like, "Hey, I love music too. I've recently been getting into Chappelle Roan and Lola Young. Love, really love their stuff. Hey, me too." I was like, "I just can't." This is where it gets amazing. I was like, "Just can't get enough of Pink Pony Club and Conceited," which are the two songs by those two artists that I love.
Sure.
Their response, "Oh, it's hairy down there." I'm like, what? And they're like, "My pussy." I was like, what the fuck?
This is a bot.
It's the worst programmed bot I've ever seen, and it's not getting anything. It's so weird to just go from like the most one-word answers to just like, and fucking hairpin
And
turn.
pubic hair.
Yeah, I had pubic hair. It's like, I like, look, man, I like to speed run dating conversations too, but that one is somewhere between cheating and fucking stupid.
That sure is a choice they made. Heck, okay.
So amazing. I'm just like, what? And it got weirder from there, but I'm not gonna say it more for a bunch of reasons.
Yeah, that's fair.
I doubt anything, like they haven't responded in a couple days. I doubt it's going anywhere, but it did give me that great soundbite, so worth.
Harry down there.
Harry down there. Beg pardon? My pussy. Fucking okay. Wasn't even remotely trying to head in that direction, but since we're there now,
we got a hitch with the who asked.
Yeah.
I don't love to break that one out, but damn.
So this last week went whatever. Sadly, no date Friday. Magic Online was being the most buggy I've ever seen it be for like days on end, with no particular reason that I could find out. But I had this like playtest session scheduled with a friend, and after we decided to do it anyway, despite the fact it was being buggy.
Sure.
Dude, playing a game that has no stakes when the game is fucked up from the flow up, buddy, it's fun as shit. It might be my new favorite kink. I have never had so much fun just both of us taking turns losing our shit at how slow the client is, to then talk shit at each other, misclick, and have the game just like nearly like freeze up and die for 3 hours. It was so much fucking fun. Oh my god. It was just like, at one point he made a misclick, and then I hear from the other end of the mic, to be fair, he's 19, but from the other end of the mic, I hear, no, don't! Just like this pleading 5-year-old to like a serial killer cry out I've ever heard. It was so, I have never laughed so hard in my life.
Incredible.
Also, he hit me with the best. I'm gonna try to remember this one and say it a bunch. He hit me with the best. I'm a 19-year-old and this is funny, like, created phrase. It sounds like it was made by AI, honestly. But it's like Sigma cringe set.
Oy. Oy.
It's so bad, it's good.
Oy,
yeah, it was exactly. That's the right response.
Ugh.
Either response of laughing your ass off or going, ugh, is correct.
Yeesh. It's a choice.
It is in fact a choice. From there, went on an awesome date last night, which caused me to stay up too late, both last night and get up too early this morning to do the requisite watching for our episode today. But it was a fantastic date that I think this is the first time, or maybe it's just me, like, kind of my brain, evolving to the point where I see it this way. But the date went so good, and the person is so out of my league. For the record, professional comedian, not going to say their name, not somebody anybody's heard of, but I don't want anybody Googling them, as it was just a first date. They used to work on story writing in video games, and now this is their first week in LA, so got them before the rest of these chuckle fucks had a chance, hopefully. And now they used to work on as a writer for a talk show on the East Coast, and now they left that one because the person sucked, and they work on a talk show on the West Coast, and apparently that person's awesome. So I wish them all the best with me and in their career. But I am very much of the opinion at some point they're going to wake up and look around LA and realize that they can do better. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying just hanging out with them. Literally was at a bar with them for like 3.5 hours last night. And they like dive bars, which I love dive bars. I hate traditional bars and clubs. But fucking dive bars, oh my god. Just sitting next to the wall while they're blaring fucking like, oh, are they like Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Dookie. They were just playing all the bangers of albums from when I was a kid but didn't listen to music because reasons. But we're just drinking. I was drinking Guinness. She was drinking Jameson because apparently we both love the Irish alcohols.
Fair enough.
And yeah, also, holy shit. For ladies out there dating, if you want to know how to just wrap a man around your finger, other than, pulling his pants down, just tell him that he's good looking. And that
compliments in general.
Compliments to a guy, especially a nerdy guy, about anything that you think they're mildly insecure about, they're yours forever. Oh. She, upon walking in, hugged, she goes, wow. She goes, she made a comment about my looks. I was like, yeah. She goes, no, you should update your profile. You look your profile looked good, but you look really good in person. I was like, girl, shut the fuck up. Oh, God. I was like, also doing, I was tempted to say the same thing back, but I didn't want to overplay my hand. On her profile, she looked good. Coming out in person, I don't remember what this quote is from, but I think we've both watched the show or the special. But her titty game was bananas. It was. I was doing my best to look at her in the face. From? I think it's from a stand-up special. Yeah, it's from a stand-up special for sure. Girl, titty game bananas.
I'm just gonna Google it.
Yes, please do. I need to remember what that's from as well.
It's Neil Brennan.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Bananas. So it was just and she wasn't wearing anything crazy, provocative. She was wearing, normal, I'm gonna go out and look nice clothes, but God damn, I have never worked harder to look somebody in the face. It's don't want to ruin this. Fucking God, this is hard.
Testosterone, I'm gonna need you guys to chill.
Yeah, I'm just it's making aggressive eye contact. But had a lovely night, came back, and then the lovely night continued. So this is a transition of sorts. Went our own separate ways. Thankfully for both, potential letdown of when she discovers that there are way better looking men in LA. Hopefully I was funny enough to keep the charm going. But
it's a casual reminder, there's also a lot of way better looking douchebags.
This is true. Hopefully she looks at the content of the character, which I think she will. She was awesome. Our conversations were amazing. We had a great time. Also, I forgot one thing. At one point, this is awesome. So we're in this dive bar, and it's just one long bar, a pool table, and we're sitting at a table directly to as you walk in to the left, and then it goes long bar, pool table, bathrooms. We're sitting there having a good time. She goes, I need to go to the bathroom. I was like, all right, I'll get us drinks while you go to the bathroom. Is that cool? Yeah, awesome. She walks down. I order 2 drinks, and I look over at her because I am just smitten.
Sure.
And I see her talking to a girl. I'm like, okay. And then they both go into the bathroom, which I know for a fact they are both one-person bathrooms. I'm like, huh. Okay. Well, dumb stereotypical joke, women using the bathroom together, haha. Not reading much into it. And it's, okay, that happened. Sure. I sit down. The guy that was sitting next to the girl who went into the bathroom with my date comes over and he goes, hey man, you want a date? I go, yeah. He goes, Hinge? Which I'm just like, yeah? Why the fuck does that matter?
Yeah.
Yes, Hinge? He goes, yeah, I like that app too. I'm like, okay. Is this, are you trying to become friends? This is really dumb idle chatter.
Right now?
Yeah, and he goes, so my girl just went in there with your date. I was like, yeah. I was like, girlfriend? He goes, I mean, we met on Hinge a year and a half ago. I was like, friends with? He goes, Benz. I was like, okay, dude, chill. Yeah. I mean, he didn't say it as bad as that, but it wasn't like, definitely wasn't winning any awards with the way he said it. I'm like, okay. He goes, so I don't know what's going on there, but since they're in there, I figured I'd be out here with you. I was like, is this gonna end up like some weird like couple sharing thing? Like, what's happening here? And then he
Oh,
starts talking, and I'm like, oh no, that's not what it is. He thinks that his partner went to the bathroom with my date and they're having sex, and he's trying to apologize. Which
oh,
I was like, man, if that's the case, that is the most awesome way for a date to go south. Like,
that's a baller way for things to go wrong. Like that's a
yeah, like
very
if
unique
it's gonna
one.
go wrong, that's top pick. Like, oh, I got thwarted by lesbian escapades in a dive bar bathroom. Come on,
Like I
that's
can't.
like
Well,
the
I guess
title of a chapter of
I
a
was
book.
doomed from the start. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's like, I mean, I've got a story forever if that's what happens.
Yeah. Like
They come out, she chats with her a little bit, comes over. I don't want to press the issue like what was going on in there and look like a fucking weirdo. So I'm
sure.
just like, oh, here's your Jameson. And we continue our conversation. It goes awesome. Walk around LA. We walk. So black woman from, she was initially also a Bay Area kid, lived in San Francisco a long time, recently was out in New York for like 3 years and then moved back here. Um, but we're walking down Wilshire Boulevard, which is like the main thoroughfare of arguably downtown LA, I think, but definitely Koreatown where I live.
Sure.
And we walk by this club, and she goes, "Ah, so that's where the white people are." Just like, yeah, you found them. Like, I don't... She goes, "I like to know where the white people go to." I'm like, "Are you a club fan?" She goes, "Oh fuck no, I just need to know where the op is." Which fucking sentence. But I find out later, we leave and go our separate ways, have a lovely date, confirm, hopefully, assuming tragedy doesn't strike, I will actually be going on a date with them this Friday. Uh, yay, mazel tov. So I found out later, like we were just like chatting, and I told that story, and she goes, "Yeah, that's not what happened at all." I was like, "I didn't think so. I wasn't particularly worried about it. You know, the date went on, so I figured that's not what was at play." Apparently, what happened was other girl was a straight homie, didn't know her, but like rad chick, and saw that she was on a first date and checked in on her, which is fucking beautiful. Like
Aw.
she was like, "Hey, you good?" Like, and then and then just presumably idle girl talking bathroom, which whatever. Which off topic, kind of jealous of a little bit, as just like a
Yeah, because
a
no guy would do
societal
that.
rubric. But just like did a solid, saw another also black woman. So saw another, black woman, was like, hold on. She's with a white boy with fucking gray in his beard. Let's make sure this is copacetic. And then yeah, like chatted and came back out, but her boy just like did not fucking understand the homework at all. It came over with the weirdest like fucking intro topics. Anyway, all that's to say, came home, watched like 4 episodes of DanDaDan, and then this morning watched 6 more. And that is what we are going to be talking about today. Gonna be reviewing the just bananas that was DanDaDan. So do we want to do bad then good, good then bad? What do we think?
We'll do bad then good.
The amount of bad in this show is really hard to pin down.
It's pretty minimal.
So there I think there's going to be a sort of a middle section, a bridge, if you will, of fucking weird and like kind of like a disclaimer, but truly bad. I think the only things for me that are bad in this show, the animation is not good, but I don't. This is kind of, in a way, it doesn't matter, and very much reminded me of.
I don't know that I entirely agree with that, but
It's definitely low budget as fuck. As somebody that worked with people on animation projects, this shit is cheap. I know people that had better looking final like projects in college. This thing is rough. It doesn't matter, and this is like kind of what I'm getting to. So one of the first lessons I remember learning in school, and like the direct first one of the first classes I took in the first semester was a director's class, and it was image matters, writing matters more, sound matters most. You can have an ugly looking movie if the
Sure.
writing is good and the sound is crisp, doesn't fucking matter.
Hmm.
And this is kind of a point of that. I don't think it matters that much because it's not the kind of main point. It's very
Now,
similar to like Rick and Morty in
now,
like an
now,
anime capacity.
question for you.
Okay.
When you say the animation is bad, do you mean like things in motion or like their overall art style?
I think their art style is unnecessarily, well, it's probably rough because of budget, honestly. I'm not sure how much of it, I think a lot of it is a style choice. Like you kind of see it as a way to make I think it's a style choice and a budget choice. I think it's a lot easier to get a show greenlit if you're like, yeah, it's not going to cost that much to make because it's not an art piece. And I think that's probably part of what happened here. Because selling this thing is like selling a Mad Lib on Whippets. It fucking just doesn't make
It's
sense.
bananas. True.
It is fucking crazy. But I do believe that if you were a fan, like, okay, imagine you took somebody who liked anime in the 90s and then showed them this. They're like they would just look at you confused, like, the fuck's wrong with you? It really doesn't look as much like anime as a fair amount of animes, even now, but especially then. And I don't think that's horrible. I didn't mind it particularly much at all. In fact, it kind of added to some of the absurdist charm, kind of like Fooly Cooley did at certain points, which now that I think
Hmm.
about it, it's a lot of through lines between this and Fooly Cooley. So for the record, I'm going to, for the audience out there that's like, wow, they're making this up on the spot. I just finished watching this anime an hour ago. So a lot of this is just straight off the dome. So apologies for any backsteps that will likely be had in the next hour. Um, but I think that if you watch anime for the art, you should not watch the show. I don't think this is I don't think this is what people traditionally expect from anime artistically speaking. If you watch anime for the kind of silliness, the gag, the story, the characters, the fight scenes, yeah, you could watch a show. But if you're like, oh, I'm a big fan of what are some like kind of more artsy, like, oh, I loved Akira and this and that, like kind of more old school, like
Sure.
beautiful, Your Name and stuff like that. This is not for you. It's not going to look like that at all. I don't think it's bad. I just think that that is a thing, and for some people, that
Sure.
would be considered a detractor.
Okay. It's funny is I didn't feel like that at all. I thought the show actually looks quite good, and I think in large part because a lot of its art is very stylized.
Mm-hmm.
I thought visually it was very engaging. Like I didn't feel like it was detracting at all. Huh.
I think it's I think it is engaging for its style. I think if you put this in any other style of anime, it's not going to play.
Sure.
Like if imagine if Full Metal Alchemist looked like this the whole time, because this show actually that's an accidental genius moment. This show looks like all the dumb kind of figurines that Ed turns himself into as a ploy in Full Metal. Like anytime characters get confused and it's like he made a dummy bot,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It the show looks like that. It's there
I can
is
find it.
no shading. It is like it's basically a great anime made in MS Paint.
Like I still don't even think I agree with that. Like I feel like it has a. It doesn't feel like it's missing shading or a good color palette. Like
It doesn't, by and large, I would say that except for the background, the characters actually don't have shading. They are just flat
okay,
like
that's fair.
and I
I
don't
think
again,
with
I
the
don't think
one
that's
exception being with like the yokai.
yeah. And it again, it's fine. That's not what this show is about. It's probably, it's probably a way to get it greenlit easier. I
Hmm.
totally understand it. Again, Rick and Morty up until I think like season 5 where it like really jumped the shark for me.
Sure.
The animation was not good, but the story and the characters and the writing and the voice acting was amazing. And the same thing is true in many ways for this show where it's just like the writing's amazing. It's crazy
Sure.
as shit, but it's amazing.
It's bananas for sure.
The character, the dialogue, so much of it is comedic and story writing genius. But I would say the animation is insane. And there's only one thing, and I think I'm kind of wrong on this, but
Sure.
again, initial take. The main character whose name I fucking they never call his name because the fucking main girl like fucking orgasms anytime she hears his name. It's fucking weird. Wakaru-san, he
Hey.
for being as smart as he is never, not never, but very rarely in play strategically, and she is, which is weird because she's the hothead, which fun kind of flip the script, but it also doesn't really make that much sense for her to see strategically and him to not. That's like one of my only like character writing gripes.
See,
It's kind of a little.
I think my answer to that is probably that he's very book smart, but he's not like he doesn't have the greatest situational awareness.
That is fair. No, that's absolutely fair. But I mean, again, and this is. Do you have any gripes of the show before we move to the kind of like the bridge, if you will?
Yeah. My only kind of gripe, but I think it's probably in the source material because from what I've heard, it's a pretty good adaptation. The fucking mannequin things just felt unnecessary.
Man, oh, in the last two episodes,
Yeah, it's like,
well, I
what?
think they play one role again. All right,
like I get
this
why.
is we're entering into spoiler territory.
Spoilers for DanDaDan end at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark.
But they play an important role, and it's you could have done it with other things of showing what love is to Hikaru-san and that he would be interested in Momo.
It's clearly they exist for the one moment of Okaran seeing like love being professed.
Yeah,
like I get why they're there, but like the next morning of him running back and like getting railed by a truck, it's just so stupid.
I mean, we're laughing. I think that was the goal, and they achieved it. So.
It's just this weird gratuity. I'm just like, what?
You just described the show for the record.
Yeah.
Weird gratuity might be like American handle.
But it's just like my only thing where I'm like, I feel fucking dumb. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think I can kind of see what you're saying about like the visual. Like, I can kind of see it. I don't personally agree, but I can kind of see where you're coming from. That you could kind of, depending who you are and what you're looking for, you could kind of make a frustrating citation that like everything is always in a fucking high school, and like there's always the awkward fucking romance thing. Like that feels kind of cliched, but I will say that they do it really well.
I think they do it amazingly in the show. Yeah, it is cliched, but so much of the show is about kind of leaning in and playing with it. It is meta in many ways.
And it also feels like they're actually fucking high schoolers. Like this actually feels like an appropriate young love will they won't they, because they're fucking they're socially awkward high schoolers.
Like, and I do love one of the things, sorry to cut in, but one of the things that I love about this is not only the high schoolers, they have the will they or won't they, and they are awkward, but they also don't do the stupid overused like, well, I can't say it. They communicate well for being high schoolers while still somehow keeping that awkwardness intact, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it really is very well done romance, and it doesn't just exist in trope land for no reason, which is good. But yeah, like I can see for some people that would just be a point of frustration, and they may not like it. That would be the only thing I could kind of see as a negative. I really can't think of much more I would hate about this show. I'll be entirely honest.
The in-between, and one of the reasons if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know if I want to watch this, and you've decided that spoilers aren't a big issue, which respect, and there's literally papers, random aside, there's papers that have proven that like hearing a spoiler by and large can be beneficial to a watching experience, which is kind of funny. So but I think the only thing that is kind of a bridge is if you don't like wacky absurdism, I think that is a
The
detractor
show's
for the show.
not for you.
Yeah, it really is like they fucking crushed up Meth, did lines, filled out Mad Libs with whatever their asshole was thinking at that point, and then did not change them once they started writing the show.
Here is the quick synopsis of the show for anybody who has no clue what it is. A teenage boy gets possessed by a ghost because she takes his genitals, so he gets her power. And a teenage girl develops psychic powers when kidnapped by aliens. They go around
That
thwarting
try to
have her banana.
Yeah, they try to take her banana and then discover she doesn't have one.
Yeah. So they're going to have the sex for reproduction because they're all men. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's episode 1.
Yeah, it's episode 1 and the catalyst of the show.
Yeah, and so they go around with weird powers dealing with supernatural shenanigans.
And trying to reclaim his genitals.
And trying to get back his balls and shaft. Yes, that's the show.
There's literally an episode. Hold on, I'm going to go through the name of some of the episodes.
Also, yeah, name a convention episodes. Gas, like where are your balls?
Like, where are your balls is literally the name of an episode. I've got this funny feeling. Merge Serpo Dover Demon Nessie. Let's go to a cursed house. Have you ever seen a cattle mutilation? What the fuck?
Also, I just want to say that the episode "Where Are Your Balls" has the perfect double entendre. Because the rest of that episode is like him trying to get the gumption to speak to her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like literally, no, his testicles aren't there.
Yeah, but also,
yes, it's perfect.
Yeah. This show is, I don't want to say perfect, but it's a near perfect season 1 for me. It definitely rating it a 9.5 at the lowest to a 10. There's no clear misses. There's a style choice which for some people there's 2 style choices that for some could be a deal breaker, and I don't begrudge them of that. I think they're missing out, but everybody's different, whatever. Yeah. I haven't watched Bridgerton. I'm sure other people think I'm missing out. I don't know.
Yeah, like there are some people who the wacky absurdity, it will not click for them. It will not appeal to them. The show is not for you.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If you don't like fucking bananas, crazy hijinks where it feels
literally
like you
bananas.
took drugs, literally bananas, where it feels like you took drugs, this show isn't for you. And that is A-okay. That does not make it a bad show. That just means you have a style preference. And that's valid.
Yeah. People like what they like. No shame or hate. Yeah, but it's the writing is awesome in that they have this absurdity, but they are also able still to make like
they still feel like people.
Yeah, they're still people. They still have people problems. This is one of the things we talked about this episodes ago. Anime is in one of the few spots where you can do screwball comedy and things that really tug at your heartstrings. Point in case, I woke up today and watched episode 7. For me, I ugly cried. Jesus, what a way to start the day.
It's a rough tone for the day.
One of the really cool things that they do, and it's weird because it mostly follows the same layout formula as Demon Slayer. But they
only do it once.
They do it twice. Well, okay, no. Yeah, I guess they only do it once.
And it doesn't cheapen. Also, it's not like it doesn't feel cheapened the way Demon Slayer does, because like, well, that guy's just dead now.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
So what we're talking to for those of you who haven't watched the show, after they dispatch, I think it's only so far it only happens basically 3 times. The first 2 times with Ghosts, and the 3rd time is with fucking Crab Boy. Wherein after they have beaten or in the process of beating an alien or a ghost spirit, problem antagonist.
Yeah.
They reveal why. And the first time is with the ghost, the the granny, the horny granny. And you're like, wow, what a weird monster. This is crazy. Well, the reason that this is so cool, is that the reason that the granny wants to take weenies away from boys is because in that area a lot of girls were raped and killed, and it's her way of fixing the universe. It's this spirit that has been troubled and has been fed by the dead souls, I guess, the ghosts of these poor girls that have had this atrocity committed to them, and it makes sense. And one of the really cool things is that it points to not only with some of the antagonists' backstory, but also with some of the things they talk about in the show. It points to real problems in the world, and I would assume, especially Japan, from what I know of that country.
They're certainly real in Japan.
And it points them in a way that fits with the story and doesn't feel like grandstanding, but also helps you feel, instead of being like, and tonight on the news, something horrible. And you're like, well, fucking the world sucks. It puts you in that perspective and really helps you feel the shittiness and helps you just understand and empathize with these characters in this insane do lines of coke, fill out the most bananas dialogue captions you've ever fucking read.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one that I'm talking about for season 7 is
episode 7, you mean?
Or episode 7 is the
Silky.
Yeah, Silky.
Acro Silky, yep.
Yeah. Which so roughly it's not a single mom, is it? Is she supposed to be it's supposed to be a single mom?
It's a single mom.
So Arya is not actually her daughter. It's somebody that
Ida is not actually her daughter. They just happen to share the name, I think.
Okay. She's a single mom that's working multiple jobs, and
so there is speculation that she may have been a prostitute and left, because the first thing you see of her is she's waking up in a bed that's
not where she lives.
Clearly nice, and clearly not where she lives, and there's money on the nightstand.
Okay. Wow, that's really good imagery then. I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, so there's thoughts that she was a prostitute and left, and like her pimp is what came back.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would also make sense why she has a kid and is single.
Yep.
But she ends up dying after being beaten badly and bleeding out, and they take her daughter and
trying to run down the cab, or trying to run down the car.
Yeah. And it is if you don't cry, you don't have a soul. This episode is destructive.
It is harrowing to fucking watch. And it's
yeah, good.
God, it is they do, it's like 5 minutes of basically there's no dialogue, and you are just seeing this single mother teaching her child ballet and doing her best to provide for like her 4 or 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
There is no dialogue. There is just gentle music, and it is suddenly broken. And the first bit of dialogue is basically screaming and a beating. It is uncomfortable. It is awful. I haven't watched it in several weeks, but I know what you're talking about, and my skin is crawling. It hurts in a way that a show about stealing someone's genitals fucking shouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
This is some monster of the week, and they fucking make you care in such a way that it's like it's rougher than some Pixar openings, for God's sake. Like,
I would take any Pixar opening for that one. I'll take Up. Up sucks, but this one is so fucking rough.
It's rough because it ends in such a painful and traumatic way that is impossible not to ignore.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's like, this is still the same show we're talking about trying to get back someone's testicles.
Yeah, needs to find his golden ball somewhere in the city.
Like, for God's sake, this episode ends, and then the start of the next episode is literally somebody baseball pitching the testicles back into this kid's crotch to put it back onto his anatomy.
An anthropomorphized fucking
cat.
Desk cat. Well, yeah, but it's the fucking
fucking cat with the arms that wave. Yeah.
But the beauty of that episode, not only is you see the pain, but you get, in each one of these, I think what they do is very much in an odd way similar to what I love about Last Week Tonight, is you get hopeful closure.
Yeah.
At the end of these, they are the grandma who I'm pretty sure is like the Momo's just being shitty to her aunt, but the whole entire group is very somber and caring, and they do right by these spirits as best they can.
Yeah.
In ways that are not absurd or wacky, but are lovely and touching. At the end of this one, the in quotes evil ghost, the antagonist, we see her backstory, we see that she is a damaged soul that was just trying to do right by her daughter with, as she died, that's what her soul wanted to do, and that's how she manifested in this way. And then that she gives up her soul to save this girl that she accidentally killed, who she realizes finally is not her daughter.
Yeah.
And as she ceases to exist in that last moment, the girl that she saved comes up and gives her a hug.
Says, "I won't forget you." Yeah.
I literally can't, man. It's so fucking beautifully tragic.
It's so rough. And again, it's immediately absurdity the following episode.
Yeah, and then fucking batter up, asshole.
Yeah. Like the show has it really has a fucking weird way of hitting several dynamics and hitting, like, the show manages to just kind of touch a number of genres somehow. Like, we can hit tragedy, we can hit comedy, we can hit romance, we can hit action. It's like, it does them all pretty fucking well.
Yeah, it is insanely. While the dialogue was done on mescaline, the storyboarding was done with pure genius.
Yeah.
And it is flawless and so far in its execution in every which way, while keeping sincerity and you intrigued and worried about these characters.
Yeah.
To also just being hijinky as all hell.
Yeah. So I want to take a moment to not be sad and to talk about something else. Because god damn it, I want my skin to stop crawling.
Do it.
All right. So my favorite episode of this show, and I've rewatched it multiple times for 1 2-minute sequence, is, I think it's episode 4, where they fight Turbo Granny.
Okay.
Where like they go to, like, meet her to play tag.
And she cheats on the way
cheats
time.
Like immediately.
Yeah, I would never cheat. I hate cheating. Also, 9 minutes 8, 4 minutes 37 seconds. The fuck's going on?
Yeah, didn't say how to count. Like, bitch, you know what a minute is.
Yeah, didn't say how to count is a brand new fuck you that I've ever heard. Awesome.
That is a certain degree of go fuck yourself. That episode is gangbusters.
Oh yeah.
Like, just off the rip, the episode is bananas. And I love just how much time they spend running. Like, I love the duality of power, A.
Yeah.
And it's like, Momo is way stronger than him in a way, but she cannot fight everything. He can run from everything, but he can't break everything apart. So it's a really cool kind of use of the two of them together.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan. I love when people can shore up the other person's shortcomings. I love that kind of power dynamic and discrepancy.
Especially when it's not like Wonder Twins bullshit, when it's like they have to be smart about it, which they really were, and like the fight design and the characters.
Yeah.
Like Momo is real. I really love having a smart character with a strong character like this. Because Momo is basically the smarter of the two, even though, and this kind of actually, the more I think about it, plays really good with the duality of him being book smart and her being like social and strategic smart, with him being strong and her being like, able to manipulate and kind of being the brain. It is a really great convergence strategically.
Yeah. And I I love a couple of things of the absurdity. One is that nobody comments that they're basically running chicken horse down the fucking streets of Koto City. He's going like 25 miles an hour. Like nobody's commenting that he's sprinting faster than the cars with a person. Also, I just love when they run into the bathhouse and just, Irashimasen, he just peels around the corner. There's 2 of us. So fucking funny to me. Like, I love how absurd that whole sequence is. But I I fucking love, and there's no reason for it to go nearly so hard. It's when like the mob is chasing them, and the crab is caught back up, and they're like, "You're fucked," and she's like, "Go nuts, like, dude, go full throttle. We need to get out of here." And it's a fucking like techno remix of the William Tell Overture.
Yeah.
And it is my favorite 2 minutes in a show.
Yeah, the music design in the show is also gas.
So
like,
good.
The opener, while a bit hokey and literally like one word, is great.
It is one of the shows I never skip the opening song.
Though a lot of the background stuff, I want to go listen to the like full soundtrack, because a lot of like the fun kitschy background stuff I would love to hear without dialogue over it, because
Sure.
I think I would make a lot of them like my ringtones. They sound
Sure.
rad.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there's the William Tell Overture in that one. What's the one where they're chasing the fucking skeleton dummy?
They reuse it.
Is that the same one? Okay,
it's the same one.
It's so great.
It's so good. Which
Chasing
also, I love
down
that I love at the start of him going to like he like wants to go full. He wants to like use the power, but he takes off his shoes. And he's gonna go. He's like, wait. And he fucking folds everything up so it's neat and tidy, and then fucking goes. But yeah, like just God, that the sequence of the running the first time is so. He's like, I can't make this turn. Grab, just runs on the side of a building. Like, and I love that they just. And they find the one thing I love about that episode too is the use of lighting for influence, which I think is just really cool. Where it's like everything is in red because they are within her range of influence.
Oh, interesting.
And so when they go fucking flying off a crane, they aren't color coded because they're out of her range of influence.
Oh wow, that's great insight on that one. That's awesome.
Yeah. So and then they land and everything goes back to red.
Yeah.
Which also I love that she's like, you untransformed, and he like touches his face like, huh? Just don't fucking let go. Yeah, like that's awesome. There's also a couple there's a really funny thing at the end of that, that you don't know if you don't know any Japanese. So when they go to leave, or when he goes to leave, and he says sayonara, and they keep saying it like saying it with a question mark. So the reason is sayonara is a very formal and kind of permanent goodbye.
Yeah.
Which so I watched it with Colton, and he heard it, he's like, that's the wrong one. He's like, no, that's the wrong one. Don't say that. Because he knows, and they switch it to mata ashtane, which ashta is tomorrow, and mata basically see you later. It's like jana, jamata is I'll see you later. It's the very casual, informal. It's like what you'd say to somebody when you leave at school.
Yeah.
But like sayonara is like, I'm not expecting to see you possibly ever again.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's really clever. The other one that's really funny, if you don't know any Japanese, you won't notice, when they are in different forms. So when he switches to use Turbo Granny's power, or when Ida switches to use Silky's power, how they talk to people changes. So when Okarun,
tell me more.
When Okarun is just Okarun, he doesn't call her Momo. He uses her last name, the formal way to talk to somebody. When he is with Turbo Granny's power, he refers to everyone casually. She's Momo-chan, which is really informal. When Ida will call him, I think she just calls him like Okarun-san or Ken-san. But when she swaps, she starts using honorifics. She calls him like Takakura-sama. So it's like super formal. It's really
I mean,
subtle.
it fits with their characters too, right? They become inverses of their traditional selves.
Yeah, it's just really funny. It's like you don't notice it if you don't speak it. It's like, wait,
that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah. Like
also love, it's a silly thing, but it's a through line, and they stay consistent. Is that so? In the first episode, it's made clear that Momo has this clear attachment to this one.
It's this actor.
It's this actor, and she freaking thirsts for that man hard.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody other than her says his name, she she needs a moment, shall we say?
Yeah.
And one of the characters doesn't know this and nearly gets them killed because in the middle of a fight uses his the other
name.
Character incidentally shares the same name. So she says that he can't say, she's never going to call him by his name because obviously. And then the other person doesn't know this, and so when they get in a fight, she refers to him by his given name because that's what you do. And it nearly causes them to die because their third gets incapacitated.
I guess she needs a moment to collect herself.
And it happens like 2 or 3 times, and she's like, "Stop saying that!" So great.
Yeah.
All right, to not guilt the Lily any further, final grade.
I solid 9.5. I
Yeah,
fucking love this show.
9.5 or 10. To pick one. It's near it's top so far, top of my list of things we've watched this year and things I've watched in a hot minute.
Yeah, show is
Banger.
gangbusters. It's so good. I'm so happy I don't have to wait too long for season 2.
Yeah, I think it's June or July this year.
Yeah, they ended on a frustrating cliffhanger. Those assholes.
Good job.
You dicks.
Yeah. Well done, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, if you're into wacky absurdism, watch episode 1. You're either on board or you're like, what?
Yeah, it's a pretty good litmus test.
Yeah, you have 20 minutes, you'll know.
In fact, instead of this ad break, why don't you pause this podcast and go give it a watch if you haven't already? And we'll see you when you come back. Do you need 100 pounds of butter? Come on down to Company Street Company.
What if I need 30 gallons of olive oil?
Come on down to Company Street Company. But what if I just want one flatless bird roasted for a reasonable price? Come on down to Company Street Company.
Okay, but...
Just come on down to Company Street Company. We have everything for a better price, free snacks, and employees who don't want to kill themselves, or you, because we treat them like fucking human beings. Yeah, but... Yup.
Even...
Just get your ass down to Company Street Company, where the only sketchy thing we've ever done is enable frozen orange juice hoarders. Hey! You made it back. Hope you
My
liked that
God.
episode. You doing okay there, champ? You made it through the break? I'm proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
So, something we meant to do before we got in the DanDaDan review is our reaction, especially Eli's reaction to the new trailer for the upcoming not Arcane show.
Which I'm curious. So, Bite Marks is the name of the official cinematic that Riot released recently, and I really don't know what they're gonna do as far as the next production. Because I am.
So can we watch this together and just like have you tell me when to pause? I'm kind of curious on like what certain things mean.
Sure.
Yeah, pull it up. We'll play it and pause as necessary. I thought when initially I read this at
All right. So the first view is LeBlanc's eye. She's always watching shit.
and LeBlanc is the character that we would know for Arcane Season 2,
Yep.
where it's the character that
It's the Black Rose. It's the witch.
yeah.
The wolf is a clear indication for the Medarda family, for Mbessa and Mel. So
Well,
notably,
Bessa's dead, right?
no, Mbessa's not dead.
She's not?
She's not. Mel saves her. I don't know what's going to happen with her.
Alright, so who is this?
That is so the guy with the axe is Darius. The troll holding the big club of ice is Trundle.
Okay, where do they fit into this mess?
Okay, I need to pause for a minute to talk.
Alright, pause.
Okay. So Darius was originally a field commander for Noxus. He is kind of venerated. He's one of the warlords. Apparently, this is a younger version of Darius. So this is not a modern thing. The rest of
This might be like a flashback.
This is like a flashback.
Yeah.
Probably, presumably, how he kind of rose to power and made a name for himself.
Mhm.
Because canonically, he is a guy that goes to Freljord and fucking takes names. Freljord is this northern country, kind of Viking-ish. Trolls are from the Freljord, and Trundle is basically the clan leader who just beat the others to declare himself the Troll King. And so and their territory is right on the kind of border between Noxus and Freljord. So presumably this is just a fight of champions. Right.
This is a fight of champions that this then probably leads to him taking over Freljord.
Oh, part of it. They
They're
don't
part
they
of
don't own all of it, but Noxus does just have a tendency to subsume stuff. All right, hitting play.
Play. What's
Uh,
the
So those are big gates that Noxus puts up. Basically, is like kind of a play on the idea of like all roads lead to Rome.
yeah.
Everything
Okay.
leads to them. The party is what's called the Silken Dance, which is hosted by the Black Rose. And the person weaving through with the red hair is Katarina, who is an assassin from Swain.
Okay.
The spider person is Elise.
Who's the person she's trying to kill?
No idea. He's just some asshole.
Yeah. Who? Spoiler, ends up dead. So does the ice and the axe have any play on his character and forth?
Quick pause.
Pause.
So the ice is what's called true ice. And basically, it is a kind of force of nature that will kill anyone it touches that isn't of Freljordian descent. Basically, it's like you have to be in the chosen family to hold on to the stuff. And most people can't hold it for very long because it like hurts, even if it won't kill you. So the fact that Trundle can just hold it is kind of nuts. Most people can't. So, and that's why
I'm assuming a lot of the characters that you're saying by name are characters.
they are characters in the game. Yes.
Okay.
Basically, anyone that I name by name is a character in the game. The only exception is Mel, but she's going to be.
Oh, cool.
All right, and hitting play.
Well, that didn't work. I'm gonna try to body slam a troll. Oh wow, I can't do that.
So
That's
fun
great.
note. Trundle, one of his ult like reduces armor and magic resist, so that he just tore off armor is kind of fitting.
Yeah. It's not a good place to be.
Also, reasons to not showboat.
Yeah. So does the ice going into him have like a long lasting? Because it looked like it kind of went up his arm.
Yeah. That would normally kill you. Darius
but
just
Trundle's
doesn't die because he's a baller.
Okay, so sorry, yeah, Darius.
But it is like an infection, basically.
So yeah, these are kind of like the arcs that the Romans set up.
Yeah. So there's
If I remember correctly, the Arc de Triomphe is set up by either Napoleon or the Romans.
I don't know. So Katarina she works for one of the warlords named Swain, who is one of the other big heads in Noxus, and he hates the Black Rose with a passion because he hates duplicity and he hates like the conniving way they control things. I don't really know what the significance is with Mel's interaction here. There is a guy named Necrit who goes into huge detail for this kind of thing, but I haven't watched all of his video about this.
Can she turn into a spider, or is that more imagery than anything
I
else?
think that so there is like a giant spider kind of deity in Noxus. I don't think that's just Elise. Presumably in the distance, that's an Noxian capital. I forget what its name is. So we'll eventually get to the other person at the end. Yeah, so
who are these two?
So the woman is LeBlanc. She is the deceiver. She is the woman in black in Arcane. The guy walking up beside her with the white hair and the popped collar is Vladimir. He, for all intents and purposes, he's a really old vampire, or decently old vampire with a lot of power.
Okay, so what? Rate the trailer and let me know what you think is going to be in the show.
So I I like a solid like 8.5. I think it's I think it's basically a dope music video. There's a lot of cool symbolism to it. Okay, for anybody who wants a really, really in-depth breakdown, there is a guy on YouTube called Necrit, Necrit, who does crazy in-depth looks into like lore stuff for League of Legends, and he has like a 25-minute video breaking this down.
Yeah, it
It's
actually just got released this morning too.
And he basically is an encyclopedia of League of Legends knowledge, and some of it's really really cool. So I don't know what show they will want to do. Presumably, they will want to use some of the existing characters. So presumably, there was something in Noxus. They could do a war between houses, and kind of some of the civil dissent in Noxus, because they teased Swain at the end of Arcane with the Raven with multiple eyes. And especially with like Katarina showing up, who is an agent for Swain, there is a chance that they could just be a Noxian brawl. They could do something about like Noxus against Demacia, who's another big superpower. And they could do something with like mages coming back, since the Arcane is waking up thanks to Victor. They could do the story of like, for example, Silas, who is a mage prisoner who breaks free and basically starts a revolution in Demacia, who is famously anti-mage. Both of these are really good options, and they could do a lot with the Noxus, like, kind of power dynamic. They could also just go somewhere else entirely. There's a lot of good options. But
So pretty darn excited for the next season.
I'm really into some of the League stuff is a little janky. I like some of it. Some of it I'm kind of like, yeah, weird game mechanics. They put too much, it's kind of snowbally stuff in, and I don't care for it. But I mean, I'll still play it. I'm very excited, especially if they have Studio Fortiche making another show.
I think that it looks like it's Fortiche, given the animation style.
That animation is absolutely Fortiche, but I don't know that they are going to make another show. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Studio Fortiche. I know that Riot has said there are more productions in the works. I don't know if they're being done by Fortiche.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So
I hope and would imagine so. Just because this is more. Am I misunderstanding? I thought this was a trailer for the show.
No.
You think it's a trailer for the game?
It's absolutely cinematic for the game.
Interesting. All their other cinematics are way different than this one. It feels like
absolutely are. And this is the first one that Studio Fortiche has done, I think. No, that's not true, because they've done stuff in the past.
Yeah.
But and so I don't know how much to read into its significance, since they're the people who did Arcane, and I don't know.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
I really hope that they make another show. I think Arcane.
I would be shocked if they didn't, but maybe
Arcane was very expensive.
It's very expensive, but it was also very popular.
It was very popular.
They also have
well received.
It is a very big company that has a lot of money, and I think this is an area that they want to move into. And while it was expensive, and the rate on return for just the show isn't good enough, one of the things that changes things, merchandising, and being able to do that your own with skins, which doesn't cost you that much and gets you a lot, especially with popularity. The other thing is merch that other people pay to license, which people definitely did for shirts and for, gear
shirts,
of any variety.
posters, fucking plushies,
mouse pads. Yeah.
There's definitely and I think that they will definitely recoup their money through merchandising. I'm sure. So I don't know. But yeah, I hope they do.
Yeah,
because it'd be dope.
So things that we do know is stuff that we have liked to either read or watch. For instance, this week I found myself in need of a bit of comedy, as all the kind of downtrodden moments with the fire and such.
Sure.
So I turned on Hassan Minhaj's Off with His Head. It's a relatively new comedy special by him on Netflix, and it's pretty darn fucking funny, and it's also damn ruthless, as the name suggests. Hassan is definitely like kind of a little pissed about a couple things, and lets his tongue fly hilariously so, but definitely is kind of like the more like hilariously spiteful I've seen him in maybe ever.
He definitely goes in really
Did you
hard.
watch it as well?
I'm just everything I know, but like I've seen and heard clips from Hassan Minaj. He just fucking goes in on people, and I respect the shit out of it.
Yeah. Definitely went pretty hard in this one. It was interesting to watch him get like kind of like, because there's been some, he got in trouble. He got called out for embellishing to certain degrees in his last special. And people were like, "Whoa, a comedian said something on a show that is meant to predominantly make people laugh and watch more of his stuff." And it was not 100% accurate. Like he wasn't like saying, "Yeah, I make $1 million," but he's like stone broke or anything like that. He's not our president.
Yeah.
He did, however, talk about like kind of interline or interweave and, conflate certain things for dramatic effect and comedic, principles, which, while kind of, oh darn, I was hoping that was the truth. It's like it wasn't so far outside to not be, but he took some umbrage with people like coming at him for that and fucking sent it. And I think it's completely fair.
Like, had receipts. Like,
yeah.
Like he'd even talked to the person who were like, "It's inappropriate for you to like be dishonest." And he's like, "They said it's fine. Fuck you."
Yeah. Very much so. So if you want to laugh and see a comedian fucking get his, highly recommend. What about you, bro?
So I bought the 2 and 3 of a series because I hadn't read them by Rick Riordan. So the first one is The Sword of Summer. It's his like Norse mythology trilogy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they're eventually on my reading list. I've got like 9 books I can read. I've got a lot of pages to go through.
I have seen your shelf. In fact, I put it together. It is quite
true.
massive.
It's like half of the bottom rung. I just have to read. Like, it's all stuff for me to read still. So
sick.
Excellent. So yeah, the Sword of Summer is the first one. It's a very similar tone to, Percy Jackson and I forget the fucking. It's a very similar tone to Percy Jackson. It's a very similar tone to the kind of Roman series. Like it's more Rick Riordan. Either you're on board or you're not. And if you don't like the way he tells mythology, totally fair. It's not for everybody. Like some people are very purist and get very offended. I'm personally unclench your ass a little bit, but
it's shipmate. It's stories. He's doing his version of a story that was written thousands of years ago. Calm down.
And he's doing it like for clear entertainment purposes and marketed towards children.
Yeah,
fuck off.
People having problems with that is like people having problems with Hades.
Yeah, which outrageous. Anyway, I think it's very fun, so I'm very excited to read book 2 and 3, which I picked up. So that Sword of Summer is the first one. Enjoy.
So something else I've been enjoying these last bunch of weeks is Pink Pony Club by Chappelle Roan. I cannot get enough of the song, and if and when we finally do an episode talking about songs that tell a story, I think this one might make the cut. It's not a very like long-winded story like Hurricane by Bob Dylan or anything, but it is fucking awesome and poppy as all hell, and gives a lot of love to her. I think it's kind of telling a personal story a little bit, but mostly gives love to her fan base and like their life choices. I think is the way I felt the vibe of it, and it's regardless. Honestly, this could be in fucking Arabic, and I would love it. Just the delivery and the instrumental is fucking rad. So highly recommend checking out Pink Pony Club if you need a pop banger.
I don't really have a great musical recommendation this week, because a lot of my downtime this week has just been spent reading Wind and Truth, because it was a big ass
nerd,
huge nerd. I was reading before work. Like I'd literally wake up, read, and I'd realize like an hour later, I'm like, fuck, I need to go to work. But I do have a goofy game that you can technically play it alone. I don't recommend it. It's okay independently. It's called the Spell Brigade, but it's kind of a Vampire Survivors-esque game with a wrinkle that you can play with other people,
Sweet.
and then it becomes some fucking not Mario Party, but it has that same vibe where other people can kind of fuck you over because there is
Is
friendly
there
fire,
benefit to like fucking? Oh wow.
which like you don't insta gib each other, but you can fuck each other up.
Is there a reason to fuck each other up, or is it more?
No, it just hurts you all. But it's really funny. So it's just kind of chaos. And the couple times I've played it with like a stack of 4 people, it was pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, for the low price of $10, it seems worth, you know.
Yeah,
If that's as much or less than I'm going to spend watching a movie later today. So
it's almost definitely less.
yeah.
So yeah, if you've got friends and you like the kind of Vampire Survivors-esque shenanigans,
Bullet hell, like
Yeah.
chicanery.
yeah, absolutely have some laughs, have a drink or two to go with it. Great time.
All right. Well, as always, to close out this episode, we do have our quip off. And what are we doing today, Mine Bruskinkowski?
Well, we had since the last time was Home Alone, which is the Christmas classic. We had to do the other Christmas classic of Die Hard.
Don't you know? All right. So I'm putting 2 minutes on the timer. Ready, set, hit it.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
9 million terrorists in the world, and I gotta kill one with feet smaller than my sister.
No fucking shit, lady. Does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together. Have a few laughs.
Oh, you're in charge? Well, I've got some bad news for you, Dwayne. From up here, it doesn't look like you're in charge of jack shit.
I'm Agent Johnson. This is Special Agent Johnson. No relation.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Hans, Booby, I'm your white knight.
Well, this time John Wayne doesn't walk off into the sunset with Grace Kelly. That was Gary Cooper, asshole.
I wanted this to be professional, efficient, adult, and cooperative. Not a lot to ask. Alas, your Mr. Takagi did not see it that way, so he won't be joining us for the rest of his life.
Well, when you steal $600, you can just disappear. When you steal 600 million, they will find you, unless they think you're dead.
I think this is under advisement, jerkweed.
Just like say God, eh, Slick? I was in junior high, dickhead.
Next time you have the chance to kill somebody, don't hesitate. Thanks for the advice.
Who's driving this car? Stevie Wonder?
I eat $1 million deals for breakfast, sweetie. I'm pretty sure I can handle some Euro trash.
Hey, sprechen Sie talk?
Do you want a breath mint?
This is Agent Johnson. No, the other one. One last one for the road?
Glass? Who gives a shit about glass?
With that adorable little quip, that'll be our episode. Thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this, please feel free to
Like,
comment,
share.
and subscribe.
But don't forget, new episodes of Super Prose Bros come out the first and third Saturday of every month.
Bye.